Well, leave your
no,
glasses on.
I'm
That's
switching,
okay.
Deborah. I'm switching to my reading glasses.
I was going to say,
Oh, boy.
man, she's good, taking the glasses off and doing both.
No, would not be able to do that.
Okay.
And as young as I am, I can't even do anything without my glasses. And my 91-year-old cousin is able to do everything without her glasses.
Oh, my Lord.
Mike, you'll give me the cue when you're ready, right?
Yeah, I'm just seeing if I can get this going or not. It's the... Okay, I think it's going now. So we are recording, and I'm hoping it's on Facebook Live as well. So if it is, well, we'll just welcome anyone that's going to join in. And I just want to introduce myself. My name is Mike Zacchino. I'm the manager of student life at Georgian College. And with me, I have Roxann Whittingham, and she's going to be hosting this session on financial literacy. And she has two special guests with her, or with us. And I'm going to hand it over to Roxann now to look after introductions and get rolling with questions. So, Roxann, off to you.
Okay, thank you, Mike. And I just also want to say, for those of us, those of you who are listening, if we're on Facebook Live, just to say hello. Hi, shout out to our Grizzlies, shout out to our Georgian College students. Just excited to be here with these two wonderful ladies that I happened to bump into in the community. Adriana, I think I met on Simcoe Startup. She's a member there, and she was teaching on financial literacy. Some webinar that I jumped onto, and I just thought, wow, this is how I come across all these wonderful resources in the community. Deborah, I think I probably met the same way, but I also know Deb from the Jam Guy, so we've talked a lot because she's really, kind of given me some advice too for my jerk marinade. So, it's a pleasure to be on the same platform with these two ladies, very knowledgeable and very active in the community. So I'll give each of you, time to introduce yourself and to just talk a little bit about your business and what you do. I'm going to start with Adriana since you're the letter A, right?
Thank you, Roxann. Thank you, Mike. And thank you to anyone that's joined us. I actually attended Georgian College myself back in, I'm going to say 2009, 2010. So go Grizzlies. I am the owner and CEO of Soaring Finances. My business is mostly about empowering Canadians in the area of finances. So my passion really is women entrepreneurs, but I work with a variety of clients, anybody from, an individual, single individual to families, business owners and such. Our passion really is about bringing financial awareness, bringing financial planning, and bringing financial protection to those that are in our communities. My area of expertise is around Ontario, as that's where I am licensed as a broker. But every now and then I get a certain amount of questions, maybe that's outside of there, and I'll try to help the best that I can, or make a referral to somebody that's in their area. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Adriana. And over to you, Deb.
Hi, my name is Deborah Salmons, and I'm in the financial industry as well as Adriana. What I kind of did, I fell into that industry from my background. Historically and currently, I am a tax specialist. I started my accounting practice 1985, So that's when how old my youngest son was born. And I kind of looked at accounting as something that I really enjoyed to do. So over the years, I've been dealing with small businesses, entrepreneurs, and different things until I was introduced to apply at CRA, Revenue Canada. And that was very interesting. My dad, who is a tax accountant, he was doing my taxes, and I'm like, Dad, it's so boring. He goes, no, it's very interesting. And when I did go to CRA, I found it was very interesting about taxes, and taking that knowledge and my accounting, I would get questioned at tax time. How's my RSP doing? What I should do with my life insurance? And so years ago, I got introduced to a company that helped me understand fully more from what I do know, and I fell in love with the financial education platform. I'm not a salesperson. I could tell you that right now, but I can educate you and empower you with choice through different things. It's like what you do today is everyday stuff. You're the CEO of your life. And so if you don't know how to handle your money or how to make better choices, this is where you need to actually sit down and figure this out, either through one of persons in the financial industry, Adrienne is one to start, or myself, to look at where you're starting, because you just ended another chapter going out of college and you're stepping into the real world. There's no safety net. And trust me, you sometimes think, oh, this is okay, I could get through it. But you need that guidance. And so it doesn't hurt to reach out. And like Roxann's done, she's talked to different people, going to different things, so she can make discernments on what is fit best for her. We can give you the information. We can give you a selection of products. We can give you our best advice. But as if you were going to a grocery store, you don't need the store manager dictating what you cannot buy or what you're going to buy when you know exactly what you need to buy. And so financial education allows you that amazing opportunity to not be sold, but be informed and make a decision that fits you. So I'm here to help you in any way that I can from my personal experience. And I think it's an awesome way to make yourself feel grow and to be empowered with choices from the get-go.
Awesome. And you know what? You've actually reiterated something I heard this morning listening to one preacher. You're the CEO of your life. So I'm hearing this for the second time this morning, so I better listen up. Right. So my next question then, I'm gonna pose it to two of you, but I'll start with Adrienne again. And I think Deb has actually touched it. So talk about the importance of financial literacy to our Georgian college population. What is financial literacy? You know, what would you say to our young people listening? Adrienne.
The financial literacy is really education, life education, financial education. And it encompasses not just information, but gaining the skills necessary to know which bank account is right for you, which credit card is right for you, what the products and solutions are out there that will help you as you grow. You know, Deborah made a very valid point. Most of the population that's coming out of Georgian College is young. I mean, I was one of the oldies there, so I know that it's mostly young. We've all been young. Here's the thing: we've all been young, so we know the mistakes. We know, the things that we should have done. And I think that's where Deborah and I sort of, kind of come together, and we agree in a lot of things, but this in particular is that we need to be able to make better choices. And financial literacy is just that, getting the knowledge and the skill set so that you can make those solid financial decisions. And it's as simple as a bank account. Not every bank account is right for you.
That's well said. Deborah, you want to comment on that? You've already touched on it, but you could just elaborate a little.
financial education is something that doesn't start at school. It actually starts when you're young. And for a prime example is, as I was teaching the financial workshops that I do host, my youngest student was my granddaughter. She was 13. And at first she wasn't too sure what she was getting involved with. And for her, she was academically challenged in school. So I'm just saying, it doesn't mean you have to have a college degree or accounting, financial education is everyday life.
Mhm.
And as she was going through that, her choices, now I'm going to have to tell you that I have another granddaughter, same age, same date they were born, different parents. And my one granddaughter at 13 was taking or sitting into the courses, and she was discerning from what she was hearing. And then it was interesting to know that when I started just letting her hear it, and then having her choice of, what are you going to do with your money? Simple concepts that can become a habit. So by the time she was 16, she started participating in the discussion with our product providers. And some of them pulled me away and said, is she like 18? Did she get, get her license? And I go, she's 16. And they go, really? And I said, well, 3 years of her hearing this and being familiar allowed her to grow beyond her peers that she was dealing with, especially her cousin. I could take my one granddaughter that did the course, and I don't have to go bankrupt at the mall. Take her cousin, my other granddaughter, and I'm bankrupt before I get in the car. And because of the understanding of money and discernment, it was like, which one I'm taking to the mall? The one that's not going to bankrupt me, but I still want to take my granddaughter to go to the mall with me, but I have to say, hey, you got a limit, all right? So financial education is everyday things. It doesn't have to be a formal education. It's just something you practice, and how do you use your money and resources wisely. You're coming out of college with amazing opportunities and you're overwhelmed. And you have to be mindful of your resources that you have and what you can have. And so a goal or a plan is vital to understand financial education. People go, well, you talk about finances, they go, I have no money. You have money, but what are you doing with your money? And that's the starting of financial education.
Awesome. You kind of touched into my next question. So that is what I would ask. And I should say, I wish you were my grandma when I was growing up.
I wish she was my grandma when I was growing up.
I would be in a better place. Okay, so next question. How do we adequately do financial planning now, in this economic crisis and this economic uncertainty? How do they plan for that?
Me?
Adriana, you can start.
Okay. Roxann, to be quite honest with you, financial planning should start before we hit a financial crisis. And financial crisis just brings to light the fact that maybe we have not done the best in our financial planning. But that doesn't mean that you can't plan now, here and now. Right. So the reality is you can start anytime. It's harder to start when we are going through a crisis like we are right now, because one of the things that I always touch on is that money and finances are very emotional. There's a lot of emotions that are tied to money. And so when we are hit with a crisis like this, our emotions are all over the place. So somebody like me, our first job should be to help people deal through those emotions. I often say that, I should have gone into counseling because, we end up doing a lot of counseling, guys. We do. And you know what? I enjoy it. I honestly do. If somebody is willing to jump on board and to do the things that are necessary to get you to where if another crisis hits, you are in a much better position, then I'm all for it. I think Deborah mentioned something at the very beginning. And that is, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. She used it, you know, in a grocery store scenario sort of thing, but it's the truth. I think the very first thing we need to do is recognize that we need to do financial planning and then move forward from there. Once we recognize, and if you need a professional like Deborah, myself, there are many other people out there. Just make sure that it's your interest that the advisor has in mind, and work with them.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Deb, would you like to add anything to that, or would you like to?
Yeah. I'm a personal survivor of financial disaster, and it happened unexpectedly in 2007. And that was February 13th, 2007, the day my husband had a major accident at work. And there was many things that I knew, but there was not many things I prepared for. And one of them was assuming that workers' comp was going to cover my husband's wages forever. Didn't happen. The thing that was okay at that time is our debt level was not that high. And so it was workable and doing stuff. But what happened is future income was lost. So our lifestyle changed on a major thing that it wasn't even his fault for the accident. He was one of those drivers that was trying to avoid a head-on collision. And in fact, that day, he could have died from the injuries of avoiding somebody else having to lose life. And so to me, that was the first part of being, oh my God. The second part was rebuilding when things didn't get better and losing everything. And that's a late, you look at right now, that is 17 or 13 years ago that this happened, and recovery was hard. Now we're looking at the pandemic and you're saying, oh my God, I've got to do this. The problem is, without having proper financial foundations of what you need as opposed to what you want, is a really learning curve. We want to have everything, and we have been conditioned to leverage debt and worry about tomorrow later.
Yeah.
And this is where there's a problem of financial education not properly introduced or recognized as a life skill requirement, because the generation, my generation, we grew up with no debt. Debt came very available when I was a young adult and no formal education. So over this period of time, the education now seems more predominant, needed, because we can't afford to live, oh, we'll figure it out tomorrow. And COVID has made an amazing impact on the necessity of financial awareness, financial education, and a financial solution without going bankrupt. And so here, November is an amazing month of financial awareness, but financial awareness is not a month of November. Financial awareness and education is today, tomorrow, and maybe the next day and after that, as long as you're on this planet. So I really, my passion is to make sure that future Canadians, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, I don't have them yet, but they're, but if you think about it, if we could make sure our Canadians, 40 million people, educated and having put some financial planning in behind, the next wave, now maybe not the next wave we're in, but the next major one we come out, we would be more successful to ride it out financially than to be economically pushed before the curve can be removed. It just makes common sense. We are going back to work, not because we need to go back to work. We're going back for economic necessity because we don't know how to handle our debts. We don't have money to pay off because we were conditioned to be leveraging debt. And this is what is so different with this time period than any other national disaster that we had. People before, I know my grandfather, he was 47 years old when he got his first house because there was no Canada pension or old age for his mother to live off of. He had to give 1/4 of his income so he could support his mother, even though he was married, had kids, or whatever. There was no social structures. So it wasn't that you need it then, it was built in your survival. But now we've been so conditioned with so many helpful programs that financial education is sort of, oh, we really don't need it. No, we need it no matter what the situation is. So this is why I get very passionate. I am helping businesses today to survive through COVID. I'm looking at all sorts of funding, but then I look on the flip side is our taxes will go up. And how do we help with that? And so financial planning is just not, oh, because I have extra money. It's financial planning is I don't want to run out of money. I want to be able to sustain what I have and not lose everything. I know what it's like to lose everything, car, house, almost a marriage, isolation. Financial disaster does not just happen just with money. Financial disaster comes with a whole person's life.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there because I don't want you to jump into financial.
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe my clairvoyance is working.
And that was a lot of information, and we really appreciate everything you have said. So, on that note, I do have a follow-up question about having a financial advisor, but just to make sure I get this question in there. Credit building, I know it's one of the major problems that young people have. Building credit, being able to come out and have something to be able to afford the house that Deb alluded to, right, and the car, etc. Talk to us, Adriana, about credit building for young people and some of the common mistakes.
Well, credit building can be taken a little bit out of context, especially when we're young. I remember having my very first credit card, and I remember what Deborah was saying, sort of, your parents didn't even really know, our parents really didn't know how to train us because they didn't experience, and I remember, Deborah's very right. Most financial advisors like us have had the experience. For my husband and I and our family, it was, 2006 to about 2010, where we went through what we thought we were going to lose everything. So it all begins in understanding what it is that you're trying to do and having the right goals set. Building credit isn't just about getting, the credit card that was offered to you. I mentioned at the very beginning, we should be choosy. We should understand. There are people, I have my two younger daughters. I'll just give you an example, both one in university, one in college. They don't have the same credit card because they don't think about money and debt the same way. One pays off her credit card every month. She has a credit card that has bonuses and this, and she knows exactly how to use it. The other one, not so much. And so as a financial advisor and as a parent, I need to be able to help them recognize that. Why don't they have the same one? Right? And help them understand this is who you are. And so when you're dealing with building credit like they are right now, you have to be able to build credit the correct way and not get yourself you don't want to be in the effort of building credit. You don't want to set yourself up for failure and just incur a lot of debt and not be able to go forth with what your goals are. So my thing would be understanding what your spending habits are, what your money nature or money mindset is, going out and making sure you have the right financial products. Ask questions that are relevant to you. It's not just the one that has the lowest interest or it has the biggest bonus or this or that. You need to understand. And the very first thing is you need to have a goal, a financial goal. What is it you're trying to do apart from building credit? What are your goals 5, 10 years from now that you are working towards? When we have that goal, when we visualize, we are less likely to get into debt because we want to achieve what we've set forth. Where we get into trouble is living for today, like Deborah was saying. You live for today and that's it. We'll deal with tomorrow later. No, 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 no. We need to deal with our past. We need to work on our present and we need to plan for our future.
Yeah.
Adriana, just to do a little follow-up to you, you mentioned financial products. Can you elaborate a little bit more on what sort of financial products you're making reference to when you say that?
Like I said at the beginning, especially for somebody coming out of college, you want to be able to choose your bank account. Don't just bank because your parents have banked at XYZ bank. You know, what is it about this bank account that the bank should have your money, your
Okay.
future money, right?
Yeah.
A credit card. What credit card? Is it just the same one that your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your friend has? No.
Mhm.
What is it that makes that credit card important or you important to that credit card company? You need to
Okay.
make those choices.
Awesome. All right. So Deb, I don't know if you had anything to add towards the whole credit building, and not so much, because a lot of students they are currently on student loan and all of that. I've actually seen a colleague of mine. She finished college, and instead of paying towards her student loan, she went ahead and bought a brand new car. And that the student loan was growing. And so what would you say to somebody in a situation like that?
It's not uncommon. It is always one of those things because they need to have the next newest thing. It's been built in the advertising in our marketing of anything. So the thing that I kind of look at it is depending on the person's personality. And that's really when it comes down to figuring out a financial education. If you're always been told that you can get what you want when you want it, financial discipline is going to be very hard.
Yeah.
Financial discipline comes down to either you're going to learn it the easy way or the hard way. And that scenario would probably be a harder way. Not that it's a bad way, it's a harder way. But when I talk to, and this is the advice I'll give to my own grandchildren, they're actually 16 this year, all three of them, and they're heading into college, getting prepared, going to work. And so my advice as a grandmother would be, honey, I want to take care of it for you. I'll take care of it. But as a grandmother / financial advisor and all these other things that I do, I can't bail them out if I'm not here, if I don't help them to bail themselves out now while I'm here. I can help them and assist them, but I need to be able to assist them in a way that's going to help them to develop skills or expectations, proper expectations.
Absolutely.
When I kind of look at going out of college and you've been living at home or you've been living away, you've been on a budget, the first thing that you want to do is, I don't want to be under that restraint. But sometimes you have to. And so the realistic idea is, what am I in debt with if I have an OSAP loan? What kind of income am I making? Where do I want to live? And figure out how much money you need to make every single day. That's the beginning of figuring out, am I going to be independent or dependent? What that question means, independent means financially independent, having control, or I'm going to be dependent on the creditors calling me to pay my past due. Am I going to be reactive to being, oh, I got somebody calling me, or I'm going to be proactive and say, hey, I got it. I got the mail, your e-transfer, your payment's been done. It's about a choice. But what choice do you want to take? You select a course out of the college for a result that you're expecting down the road. Financial choices are the same thing. Either you learn it the hard way, or you're going to learn it a better way. And that it takes down to, are you going to take a course on financial planning? Probably. But what do you really need out of that? Not just because taking the course makes it happening, it's the application of doing your job. So let me give you a scenario. I took auto mechanics and I would have theory one day. And if I wanted to be a mechanic, I needed to do the practical the next day. The same thing with financial education. You could read all the books, but if you don't apply what you know or try, then you are not going to be successful down the road. So if you say, well, I want to learn it the hard way, then your choices will make it that way. But if you say, wait a minute, if I could just learn a little bit more, how do I manage my money, get some guidance and being empowered, and that you can say, hey, I didn't screw up that much when you look 5 years down the road. Because you need to look at your plan of what are you doing next? You're stepping out in the real world. Where's the safety net? Where's the money coming in? You get it from the OSAP loan. Very good at leveraging debt, but we got to pay it back. You know, and you need to understand about your commitment that you made to yourself and from a lender, right? So these are things that going and making a choice after college, buying a car, maybe not a brand new one, maybe a one to get to your job, but how much are you going to go in debt? Maybe you would have to find a good fixer-upper to have a vehicle, and that you know that you have this commitment to paying back this debt without adding more burden to your debts. And this is where taking that step out in the real world, you really need to be prepared better today than you were. We're so global, and our credit, talking about building credit, you could crash and burn within the 6 months of leaving college, and then you're going to take 7 to 14 years to get rebuilt. So what you want to do is understanding where you're starting to make a mistake to avoid a historical crash and burn on credit.
Yes. So the common theme that I'm hearing from all of you is that the planning begins today. So they don't have to really wait until they finish college or whatever. Right now, while they're thinking about the next Tim Horton versus Starbucks, those are some of the things that they, should start to think about the future. And there's a lot of talk about TFSA, RRSP. We only have about 10 minutes because I think Adriana has to go. So I'm just going to wrap up a little bit. And Mike, if you have any questions after I finish, you can just throw that in. Talk to us a little bit about TFSA, RSP, how involved should college students be, in that right now, or what kind of mindset should they be having? Adriana.
Savings is always good. And, we may not think so when we're young, but as we grow, that's the one common thing I think anybody, as we age, I should have saved more. I could have saved more. So, the government of Canada introduced a TFSA, which is a tax-free savings account. Should we have one? Absolutely. Why not? It's free. It's money that is growing free for us. We're not going to be taxed on that money again. So anybody that has even just a low income, set aside. You can do a minimum. Put it aside. You don't have to think about it. And guess what? That can be part of your emergency plan. In case you have your car breaks down, you have something happens. RRSP, when you're out in the workforce, absolutely start with an RRSP. A lot of employers do a top up for RRSP. So you put in, 6%, and they give you 3%, for example. That's free money. Nobody's going to give you 3% of anything. So if that's an option, I don't care if you're 20, 21, 25, 35, whatever your age is when you come out of college and you get that job, as soon as you can, start with that. Start with that. Again, it is money you're saving. You don't see it right now, but that's money, RRSP, you can use to buy your first home. An RRSP, you can actually, if you decided, you know what, I went to Georgian College and I got this diploma, but now I want to do something else in the education field, you can borrow against that money to go back to school when you're 35, 40, 45. So those are things that people just need to know, that you are planning for your future. You're even planning for just tomorrow. A TFSA is about just tomorrow. So yes.
Thank you so much. So Mike, before I go into the next question, do you have any question you want to ask now before I ask any
Roxanne, you're touching on a lot of the things I'm thinking about because I know I have kids that are just finishing university and paying down student loans and, thinking about ways to save and that sort of thing. And some of them are, like I have 3 kids. One of them is a bit more responsive to saving and others have different things on their mind. But I'm definitely connecting with a lot of the topics that Deborah and Adriana are touching on. So your questions are great, and I'll just continue to listen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Just to comment, a lot of young people when they get out of college, they think that, oh, I have a lot of time. So to start planning for a retirement and all of that, I think that's where the mindset is. I have a lot of time, and later on, it's like, oh my gosh, I wish I could. I wish I did. I'm sorry I didn't. And that's when it's, well, according to what you guys are saying, it's not too late. It's a little late, but never too late.
No, it's never too late.
Yeah, before a few minutes, so I'm going to give each of you a minute each to answer this question. Talk to us about the importance of having a financial advisor. We have 5 minutes left, so I'm going to give you a minute each to respond to that question. We'll start with Deb. Sorry, Adrian, if you want to go ahead.
No. Go, Deb. Go.
Okay, good.
Okay. My belief is having a financial advisor is like having somebody that could look over what you're doing without being emotionally attached to it. Financial building is like building a house. You don't put the roof on first. You need something solid to make sure everything that you have is not lost. It starts with your dream and what you're doing today. And so as a financial advisor, coach, educator, whoever you want to talk about, they're here to see what's best for you and help you be mindful of what's you need to be considered. What if, we're like super moms or super dads saying, oh, we want to protect you, but you need to kind of listen and understand, and we're here to help you. If somebody's trying to push a sale on you and you're not educating or answering your questions properly that you understand, then you need to shop around for that kind of person that gives you the right information. And so this is your money, your time, your resources. So you need the one that will connect with you. And that's what I would say about getting information.
Well said. Adriana?
I agree with Deb. First and foremost, it has to be somebody that you connect with. I honestly think that financial advice, it goes back to just goal setting and somebody helping you in setting that goal, setting a roadmap for you. In some cases, they do. If you're thinking about a road trip, they drive by you to check on you, make sure you're okay, right? It's a relationship that you are building with somebody that's helping you build today, tomorrow, and even into your future. And it comes in a variety of ways. It comes with advice. It comes with product solutions. It comes with, making sure that you are understanding. But I agree with Deb. It's education. Along the way, you have to make sure that the person is actually educating you, is actually bringing you what it is that you need in your life. It's not just about sign here. You need this bank account or you need this. No. It's about making sure that your financial future is being looked at.
Yeah.
So much. I want to add it because of time. I'm going to just ask Adriana, any final advice you want to give to our audience, students, and just to tell them where can they find you if they need your services?
Well, first and foremost, I really want to pay homage to the government. They thought financial literacy was important for us Canadians. So they are a great source. Check them out, Financial Literacy Month, Canada 2020. Check out their themes. It talks about keeping track of your money, minimizing debt and borrowing only what you need, reassessing your financial goals, protect yourself from financial fraud, which is something that's very important these days. emergency fund, and then lastly, understanding products and services. You can reach me at soaringfinances.ca, or you can actually reach me toll free at 1-888-720-772. So I'm here to answer any questions, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Chef. I actually did my summary. I had all those points from the government that I pulled up this morning as my tips. So great job. So Deb, you have 1.5 minutes. So tell us, where can we find you, and any final thoughts for the
Actually, Andrea hit it right about the financial information from the government. And if you happen to go through canada.ca and go under topics or the menu, and you'll see financial literacy down there. It's a very good, useful tool to go and look at what's out there in Canada. The thing that you have to understand, there is Canadian literacy and there's American literacy. And so what you have to know is what we have in Canada and what are the rules in Canada. I always look at giving sources. I am not the expert. I'm the expert of the go-to. See Deb, she'll tell you where you need to go, and here's the information. I am licensed, both for life license and a security license for mutual funds. I am a person that will look at everything. You know, because I have my tax specialist, have the accounting, I have more resources than most people would do. And I'm not saying that doesn't mean that I'm better or qualified than anybody else. I'm not. I have some resources that people need to know. So reaching out to me is quite easy. I'm on Facebook. You can see Deborah Salmons Financial Services. I see that Facebook seems to be a popular thing. You could actually text me. My cell number is 289-716-7980. And texting to just clear a time to chat, or to say, hey, I have this quick question. What do you think? And I could say, hey, you know what? Give me a few minutes. I clear what I'm doing. The reason is I find that I'm in the 911 situation financially because I've got my accounting experience, and tax season is around the corner. So I do happen to get busy, but I don't get busy enough that I can't get back to you. So I am here as a resource. And I feel like I can't put a number or a cost to my time, because I'm investing in people. I get paid for what I do other stuff. But what I want you to understand is reaching out to me doesn't cost you a thing. And I'm sure Andrea is the same way, that we want to financially help people making choices that are better. When you do that, I know for me, if I'm off this planet and I happen to make an impact, and I'm going to help my future descendants to do better in this lovely country or world, I've done my best. So helping you to do better makes me feel good that my children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren are also going to feel good. So reach out and do a lot of personal growth, read books, and reach out to one of us, and we will be more than happy to help you.
That's awesome. And I can testify to both of you because I've actually reached out to both of you. All right. So thank you so much, ladies.
Yes. Roxann, sorry, can I just leave us with a quote?
Sure.
Specifically for this. It's by George Carl. It says, financial literacy is not an end in itself, but a step-by-step process. It begins in childhood and continues throughout a person's life, all the way to retirement. Instilling the financial literacy message in children and young people is especially important because they will carry it for the rest of their lives. And I think both Deborah and I have spoken to that today. So thank you, guys.
And that is where I say amen and amen. This was a very, very rich, interactive, and very informative session. I really enjoyed talking to you ladies. And like I said, I know where to find you, and I'm always bugging you at one point or the other.
Never bother, never bother.
So I really appreciate it because I called on you guys on last minute and you just jumped in there and you were able to give us your time. And I know Adriana has another appointment right after this, so I really appreciate you taking the time to come. And I'll give Mike the last minutes before we close off to just say thanks to these wonderful ladies for lending us their time. And I'm sure the student body is going to learn a lot and the staff alike. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Roxann.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to thank Adriana and Deborah for taking your time out today. I know Roxann reached out to you, and we really appreciate your time, your knowledge, sharing, and I'm hoping students are going to learn from you. You might even get a few phone calls, who knows, right? But thank you very much. And Roxann, thanks for hosting today.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you guys, and have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thanks.
See
Bye
ya.
now.
Enjoy your
Bye,
day.
everyone. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.